Antivirus software discovery is shifting from search results to AI-generated shortlists. When a consumer or small business buyer asks an AI platform for the best antivirus solution, the answer increasingly arrives as a ranked recommendation, with framing, trust signals, and implied preference already built in. That changes the commercial moment. Consideration can be won before the buyer visits a website, comparison page, or purchase flow. Hey, I'm Mark Huntley, founder and CEO of CiteWorks Studio. At CiteWorks Studio, we study how brands show up across Google, AI answers, and the public sources buyers trust before making decisions, and how that visibility turns into credible citations, comparisons, and recommendations. This benchmark looked at the antivirus software market in June 2026 across ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Google AI Mode, Google AI Overviews, and Perplexity. The dataset analyzed 1,434 observations across 3 high-intent buyer clusters: discovery, comparison and alternatives, and pricing and plans evaluation. The central distinction is simple but commercially important. A mention means a brand appeared in an AI response. A valid recommendation means the brand earned positive shortlist quality recommendation credit. For executives, that distinction matters because AI visibility without recommendation credit creates awareness without shortlist influence. The first key insight for antivirus software is that recommendation power is concentrated. Bitdefender leads the category with 65.2% presence and 50.3% valid recommendation coverage. It also holds a 34.5% rank 1 rate and an average rank of 1.4 across valid recommendations. In practical terms, when Bitdefender is recommended, it is usually near the top. Norton holds the second strongest position with 47.4% presence, 35.6% recommendation coverage, and a 12.3% rank 1 rate. Norton also leads the pricing and evaluation cluster, where its top 3 rates slightly edges Bitdefender. Malwarebytes sits in a clear third position with 37.9% presence and 28.1% recommendation coverage, supported by especially strong performance on Google AI Mode and Google AI Overviews. Together, Bitdefender, Norton, and Malwarebytes capture 37.2% of the modeled monthly AI opportunity value in the category. The second key insight is the gap between being named and being recommended. Trend Micro appears in 8.4% of observations, but earns valid recommendation credit in only 2.4% of cases. Webroot appears in 7.2% of observations, but earns recommendation coverage in only 2.0% of cases. AVG also shows a presence rate that significantly exceeds its recommendation coverage. That is a different competitive position from being absent. These brands are visible to AI systems, but the AI response does not consistently move them into the buyer's shortlist. Top 3 placement shows why this matters. Bitdefender appears in the top 3 in 47.4% of observations. Norton follows at 32.9%. No other brand in the dataset exceeds 17%. For a buyer using AI as the starting point, the shortlist may become the market. The third insight is that sentiment and platform behavior materially affect recommendation eligibility. Bitdefender and Norton each achieved net sentiment scores above 0.90 with near zero negative mentions across the 1,434 observations. Malwarebytes also has strong positive framing with a net sentiment score of 0.88. 𝐂𝐧𝐭𝐢𝐯 is the cautionary case in the benchmark. It appears in 20.4% of observations but has a net sentiment score of 0.45, driven by 45 negative mentions. It performs best on Perplexity, where recommendation coverage reaches 25.9%, but struggles on Google platforms where negative framing is more pronounced. 𝐒𝐡 performs best on ChatGPT, where recommendation coverage reaches 37.5%. Avast performs best on Google AI Mode. McAfee performs best on Copilot. The business implication is direct. AI search visibility has to be measured by prompt cluster and platform, because the same brand can look stronger or weaker depending on where the buyer asks. The fourth insight is that AI recommendations appear to be shaped by the public evidence layer. The benchmark points to official brand sites, editorial technology reviews, independent antivirus testing lab reports, comparison pages, buyer guides, security forums, community discussions, and pricing or plan summary pages as source types that influence AI answers. Brands with dense independent review coverage, structured comparison content, and clear official documentation give AI systems more material to synthesize into confident recommendations. That is citation architecture. It is the system of public, retrievable, third-party and owned evidence that helps an AI platform justify why one antivirus software brand belongs in the shortlist and another belongs only in a passing mention. For CEOs, CMOs, founders, and growth leaders, the takeaway is to manage recommendation stage visibility as its own competitive channel. Track where your brand is mentioned, where it earns valid recommendations, where it reaches the top 3, where it ranks first, and which sources are shaping the framing. The modeled benchmark value is a directional signal of where AI-led discovery is concentrating buying influence. It is not revenue, pipeline, or book demand. In antivirus software, the brands that win the AI-generated shortlist gain influence before the buyer reaches the traditional funnel.